What's up, you guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Michael, and I'm a nursing student in Nightingale College. And today we're going to talk about my clinical experience in Nightingale College for BSN 266. So let's get right to the video. So for those of you who don't know me or who are new to the channel, I'm currently an LVN, but I'm a nursing student going for my RN in Nightingale College. I'm in the BSN program. This is an online nursing program. I'm in California, so I travel to clinicals, but everything else is online. All the lectures, exams, quizzes, assignments, all that good stuff, all online. Just gotta travel to clinicals to another state. And the purpose of this video is just to, share my experience with you guys, who are following me on this nursing journey. And, just to give you guys some tips. Maybe you are in Nightingale College right now. You're going to travel to clinicals pretty soon, or, you're interested in Nightingale College and you're curious about, traveling to clinicals because, you never done it before and you just want to find out more information. So this video is for you guys, and I'm going to share with you guys my tips and experience. So to start off, I was given a month's notice in advance to where I would be traveling to for clinicals. This was in fall of 2023. I was given a notice in November or like late October, around that time. I was given an email to where I'd be traveling to, and it was a facility in Colorado. This was in Inglewood, Colorado. It was a rehab facility, and I would be going there from December 4 to 8. Clinicals would be Monday, Tuesday, 11-hour shifts for both, and then Wednesday would be the off day. And then Thursday, Friday, another 11-hour shift. So 4 11-hour shifts total, and I would be there from December 4 to 8th. So I had to plan accordingly. All right, so let's talk expenses and how much I paid for everything. So I had some notes here on how much I paid for, the Airbnb, food, plane ticket, all that good stuff. So for the Airbnb, I paid about $430. I made sure not to get a rental car, and I made sure to find a place that was within walking distance, because I didn't want to get a rental car. I want to save as much money as possible. So I found an Airbnb that was 5-minute walking distance, maybe even less, like 4 minutes, depending on how fast you walked. But yeah, it was walking distance, and it was a room that was in someone's house. So the Airbnb owner owned the house, and then I was staying within the room. One of the rooms that they had. It was a very nice place. The bed was amazing. It had a bathroom, shower. It had a microwave, fridge, a TV, all the basic things that you need for this week trip. And, that's all I needed, just the basics. For the plane ticket, I spent about $300, and I was given a month's notice. So immediately I booked a flight to Southwest. I heard a lot of great reviews on Southwest for that airline. So I immediately booked a flight from California to Colorado, and it was $300, a little bit pricey, but it was nonstop for the flights. And I made sure to get there the day before the first day of clinicals. So my flight was on December 3rd. It was like at 12 p.m. in my time, and then I got there at 3 p.m. In Colorado. They're an hour ahead compared to California, so they're mountain time. And then when I was leaving Colorado, I left on the last day of clinical on the 8th. So clinical would end at 5 p.m. around that time. And then the flight going home to California was at 9 p.m. So, it worked out perfectly. I didn't want to stay another day in Colorado just to save money, with the Airbnb and the flight. So yeah, I had that flight leaving on the last day of clinical. For food, I spent about $100 or so. It was like 100 to like 120. I can't remember the exact number, but I do remember that when I went grocery shopping on the first day, when I got there, after I settled in the Airbnb, there was a grocery store that was within walking distance of my Airbnb. So I went there and I spent less than $100 on groceries. That would last me for the week. I got plenty of water bottles, microwavable food, and a lot of snacks to bring for clinicals because it'll be a long shift. And, I'm going to be there for a long time. Gotta stay full, have all that energy. And then on the last day of the trip, I always make it a tradition to eat out. So I went to McDonald's in the airport and, just splurge on that. McDonald's never misses. It's always amazing. And, I also got a salad, just to, eat your vegetables. But yeah, the McDonald's, amazing. Always got to make it a tradition to, eat out fast food last day of the trip. For transportation, I spent about $40 on the Uber ride going to the airport or from the airport to the Airbnb. So the Denver, Colorado International Airport. It was like 30 minutes away from my Airbnb, and then there was traffic, so it totaled up to like $40. And oh, I also took a Uber ride with the groceries going to the Airbnb, so that was like another $5. So around $45 for transportation. Like I said, made sure not to get a rental car, just to save up money on that. And my classmates were helpful. They gave me a ride to the airport on the last day because we all had the same flight going to California. We all lived in the same within the same area, which was amazing. Worked out perfectly. So I'm grateful for them giving me a ride. So yeah, just communicate with your classmates. You guys might live in the same area or have the same flight, and just to save up money. Overall, we spent less than $1,000. That was the goal for this trip. Wanted to save as much money as possible. We'd be traveling there for clinicals, not to really travel for a vacation or, a nice trip. For our off day, we just stayed in the Airbnb. I was going to plan to go out, have some fun, but I didn't really, have much to do. I had a lot of homework to do. So saved up money on that rest day, just staying in the Airbnb. And yeah, that's how much I spent. All right, so how was my overall experience? How was clinicals for me? If I had to describe it in one word, it would be amazing. I learned a lot, especially in a rehab facility. I learned more than I thought I would learn, especially since I had three different professors. Usually only have one professor, but in my case, it was special. It was like later, close to the end of the semester. So, they had really fine professors, and it was hard to find them to stay the whole 4 days. So, had three different professors, learned from each and every one of them. It was cool to see their different learning style, learning or teaching methods, and just to learn from them, and just to see how their backgrounds, correlate to how they teach. Things like that. We did a lot of assessments, a lot of full head to toe assessments. We, worked on a lot of patho and, learning about medications. Did a lot of critical thinking, especially when we would shadow the nurse. We would follow the nurse, for the whole shift, and then debrief towards the end after the shift ended at 2 o'clock. So from like 2 to 5, we would do like a conference meeting, all of us together, working up on our patients and just talking about them, what we learned through the whole day. It's a great experience. This clinical experience is like no other that I experienced in my other programs. I came into the mindset that, I wasn't going to be able to do, IV insertions or, catheter insertions or, IV medication, things like that, like admissions, things that you would do in, the hospital, because it's a rehab facility. The patients were here because of like mental health issues, or they were here because they had a wound, needed to be healed, or they just had surgery, things like that. So we did a lot of critical thinking, learning about the why, and, just learning more, just more and more each day. I learned a lot, which was amazing. And I actually learned how to percuss correctly, during these 4 days of clinical, which was it was great, and it's really an eye opener that, there's always something to learn. Always got to be better, and there's always every day to get better, especially in this field. All right, so a typical day of what clinical would look like for me. I'll get up 5 o'clock in the morning, get ready, walk to clinical. Got to be there by 5:45. Then we would have a little morning conference to see where everyone's going. There was 6 of us there, so we would have to split up into different teams. There would be like 2 in the first floor, and then there would be the other 4 on the second floor, because like the first floor was like long term, and then the second floor was like the skilled or acute side. And so we would see where we're gonna go. Then we would shadow the nurses, do the morning report, and just observe the nurses, assist them if they need any help with like blood sugars or blood pressure checks, or assessing the patients, things like that, turning the patients. And then, that would be, from 6 o'clock all the way to like 11. That's like the morning busy time. They're doing their med pass, and, we're assisting them, answering the call lights, assisting the patients if they need anything, doing our head to toes. Um, and then, it'll slow down around, 11 to like 12. That would be like our lunch time. So we go to lunch around that time, around 12 o'clock. After we get back, we would just, go over with the nurse, um, looking over our patients, going the charts, looking at the medications, the patho, why the patient's there. So we would look at that for like an hour, and then get back with the nurse so that they could do their last meds that they need to do, or help them if they need help, and then just debrief with the nurse, give the report to the PM shift, and then after their shift is done at around 2:30, we would go to our conference room and then debrief with all of us, with the professor, talking about how our day was, what we did for our patients, the patho, the meds, assessments, going over all that, and why they're here. We would see who's the most critical, who are we going to see first. It was amazing. We all talked about our patients, and we all learned a lot, every single day that we were there. And then after all that, go home at 5 o'clock, walk back to the Airbnb, and just work up on some homework, and that would be a typical day. All right, so some tips that I have for you guys. The first one being plain and simple: save as much money as possible. You're going to be traveling here for a week, 4 clinical days, maybe 5, maybe 6, just depends on which class that you have. Save money, plan ahead. You're going to be traveling later on the semester, so you got to save up a couple months before. I've named a couple ways that you guys can save money. You could share with your classmates, find out who is going to the same place. Maybe you're in the same state, maybe in the same city. You could take the same flight, or share the hotel or Airbnb to split the cost on that. Maybe split the rental car. Maybe split on food as well. Make it less money for you to spend. Another way to save money, like I said, go the same way that I did, within walking distance. Find a place within walking distance. Don't get the rental car. Save money on that. It could be food. Not going out to eat. Maybe getting groceries instead. It's cheaper, so do that. And maybe getting your flights and your hotel or Airbnb right away. The earlier that you book, it's going to be cheaper than it is closer to your date. So yeah, save money. Another tip I have for you guys is to learn as much as possible. You're here for X amount of days, 4, 6, whatever it may be. Learn as much as possible. You're here for the 11-hour shifts. You're following that nurse. The best piece of advice that was given to me, years ago in my CNA program when I was getting my CNA license, was to do whatever the CNA was doing. So do whatever the nurse is doing. Follow them wherever they go. Well, give them space. If they're going to the break room or the bathroom, don't go with them. Let them be. But if they're doing an assessment, they're getting ready to do an assessment, pass meds, do a skill. They're doing their hand hygiene, put on their gloves. You do that too. Be ready, because one day you're going to be in their shoes, and the more you learn, the more you do, it's just going to benefit you. There's no bad way of learning. The only bad way of learning and to be better is to not do anything at all. So if that nurse is putting on their glove, they're ready to to do an assessment on the patient. Be in that room, put on your gloves too. Get ready to help that nurse. You're gonna learn by doing. So yeah, just learn as much as possible. Another tip that I have for you guys is to communicate with your classmates. Find out who is going to that clinical site with you, in the Facebook group or the group chats. Find out who's going to be there with you so you guys communicate ahead of time. Of course, they do send an email with all the classmates or all of your classmates together with the professors. You could make another group chat when they send that out. Just make a separate group chat with just you guys so you guys communicate. Who's going to be there, where are you guys from, plan ahead. It will make things cheaper, like I said before. when you guys split the cost. So find out who's your classmates and communicate with them. Another important tip, make sure you guys have everything that you need before you leave your house or wherever you're staying. You don't want to forget your badge at home. You don't want to forget your scrubs at home. You have all these mandatory things that you need to have with you at clinicals. So read that and then make sure you have everything with you. You don't want to leave anything at the Airbnb, the hotel, or at home. You make sure you want to bring it with you to clinicals. Your scrubs, make sure you have that, your badge, the right shoes, no jewelry, things like that. You want to follow that mandatory list that they'll give you for clinicals. All right, so if there's any other tips that I forgot to mention, or if you want to mention down in the comments below, if you're a learner at Nightingale College, or say you've been to clinical and traveled, things like that, leave a comment down below to help out everyone else. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate you guys so much and following me in this nursing journey. Always remember, be great, be special, be yourself, and I'll see you guys. Peace.